Good morning, Maria. I'm lucky to be sitting in because I've got Jenny from Adventist Health Tillamook, and she's brought Howard Shapiro to visit with us. Good morning, you two.
Good morning. Good morning.
Jenny, first, why don't you introduce Howard?
Well, I have the pleasure of introducing Howard. He recently moved here from the Portland area, and he has a great need to share with our community and help our community with caregiving. We are an older community. Community of older senior citizens with different needs that take a lot of support sometimes, and I'm just glad that Howard has moved to this area, and he's willing to share his talents, as well as I think he still runs a support group in Portland. So I'm glad that he can tell us more about what he's going to do.
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of visiting with Howard a little bit, but Howard, tell us a little bit about why you put this together.
Well, the reason was actually I was a caregiver for my late wife who had a stroke. We've been married 40 years, and the last 13 years I was caring for her. However, I was going to a lot of groups, and primarily there were women there. And I didn't want to know how to make a casserole or a fancy dish because that's what the ladies talked about, being caregivers. I wanted to know how a guy takes care of his spouse. And I kept going to a couple of them. I said, I'm going to start my own. And the good Sam Hospital in Portland said, yes, you can do that, but you're going to have to do it yourself. So this is the 28th year that I've been doing it by myself. And next year will be 29 years, and it's still going in Portland. I go down there every fourth Thursday of every month.
Okay.
For an hour and a half. Guys come to the group and share their aches and pains, and they become very comfortable in a group setting of men only. And a lot of stories aren't really related to care. It's the idea that they're with same guys that are doing the same thing, if you will. They feel very comfortable. And a lot of tears are shed. I've never seen big guys crying in front of us. We all cry.
Yeah.
It's like a group setting, if you will, and they feel very safe.
Howard, thank you. And 28, looking at 29 years, that's seriously impressive, and how much good you must have done. Because I mentioned folks about my brother, and he doesn't talk comfortably, like a lot of guys, don't talk comfortably with women.
Right.
But to be in a group, and you're right, you don't need to know how to necessarily fix the best casserole on the block.
That's right. Yeah.
And you meet once a month. Now, this is something that you're working with our Adventist Health Tillamook now. How is this coming together, Ginny?
We're planning to start October 8th. It's going to be on the second Tuesday of the month, this men's only caregiving support group. And Howard has arranged for them to meet at the Hatfield room in the library, so it's centrally located.
Good space.
Yeah.
And it starts at 12:30 until 2. You may or may not go that long, depending, but it's a good time to come. There's going to be guys only, and it's right. This isn't going to be locker room talk necessarily, but it's going to be, they can share and do whatever they need to. So it's very important because I run an Alzheimer's support group on the fourth Wednesday of the month, and I get men that come, and they often sit pretty quiet. They share a little bit, but I feel like with the other ladies there, as you say, there's some differences. Mm-hmm. And, well, even when ladies get together, they share differently if it's just ladies.
Exactly.
So this is good because we each deal differently with our frustrations, and we don't want to put our burdens on someone else. But when you get in a men's group, and Howard, obviously with so many years of experience, knows how to let them talk or present something when the conversation might lag. He knows how to do it because he's been so successful for so long. We also have a general caregiving support group by Stacy Zerker that's held at Northwest Seniors, and she invites anyone and often has a speaker and then some time to talk. So we have different groups, but Howard's is going to be unique and well needed, I think, in this community.
Oh, I'm impressed. Howard, when you kind of visit with me a little bit about what the hour and a half is like?
Well, I kind of set a theme, really, so that the fellows can work on that particular area. The thing that I do is take care of yourself first. Otherwise, you're going to pass away before your wife passes away. A lot of the guys are so dedicated that they don't know what life is all about because they're involved totally with their spouse.
Exactly.
And so I create and I tell them, get out of the house, go to Safeway or Freddy's and pinch a tomato, if nothing else, but get away from being a caregiver and go back to your roots, if you will, if you like fishing or golfing or any other activity, but don't give it up. It's important that you still join society, that caregiving is not the only thing that life is for you. It is for you, but at the same time, you have to have some play, some activity that gets you away from being a caregiver.
Makes sense. We're going to take a short break, but then we'll talk to Jenny because there's respite care available too.
Yes.
Hey, where do you go to find almost anything you need for home improvement? I'll tell you where. Rosenberg's. Rosenberg's has been your local connection for anything you need to build and finish your house to perfection. Carpet, cabinet, paint, electrical, plumbing, nuts and bolts and fencing and windows and doors and so much more. All those items in one place, but that's only part of the story. What really makes Rosenberg's your stop for home improvement is their people. Their knowledgeable, friendly staff is there to help you through any project. Any question from what paint you should use to how to install a new shower valve, you can get the help you need to do it right the first time. Stop by Rosenberg's today to rediscover what you've known all along. It's better to shop local and work with great people that you can see every day. Build it, plumb it, wire it, paint it. Rosenberg Builder Supply, Tillamook. And they are handy to have and knowledgeable. It's kind of nice to have someone say, no, Shaena, it's this color paint.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're back visiting with Howard and Jenny from Adventist Health Tillamook. And Jenny, that's what I said. When Howard tells men to get out, they say, well, yeah, but who's going to be here?
Well, there is respite dollars that you can access through Stacy at Northwest Seniors. There is money so that you could get a caregiver to come in if you needed to. But there's also volunteers. At the hospital, we have a group called Faith in Action. And I know Molly Redding and Carolyn Betlitsky have been on before. And Molly can help you get a visitor to come in. It's one of our volunteers. They're trained for it. To come and maybe sit with your loved one, do some reading to them, maybe take them for a ride, give them another friend in their life, and that might let you have the opportunity to go to the support group. Mm-hmm. On Wednesdays, we have Wellspring, which is an adult respite daycare, and that goes from 10 to 4. It gives someone, again, a chance maybe to go fishing, because you need more time than just an hour and a half to go fishing. Sure. So you could actually have your loved one there. And a great way to become acquainted with that is to call the hospital, myself or Molly Redding, and set up an appointment to come and have lunch. Bring your loved one to have lunch and listen to the music. Mm-hmm. You can kind of get a feel for it. As Howard was saying, you go to this group because you need to release, but your caregiver may need a release from you. That's why respite is important. And yeah. I remember the time that I was nagging at my mother to hurry up and do something when I was caring for her because I was late for work. Nah. And then she started to cry, and I felt bad. And she needed a break from me at that moment. And so it's good for both of us. It will help our relationship to be better when we get a break.
Absolutely.
And Howard, when you hold your group, is the topic always related to caregiving?
Not only, they'll share some of the activities that they were involved with in the past. So we find out that this guy sitting over there was an attorney. That guy over there was a judge. And they're able to share some of their past history with the group. And so they feel very comfortable in talking about their past. I said, well, the past could be the future at the same time, or the present, if you will. try to join a group that is related to something like that, or call one of your buddies that you worked with. Just get out of the house, and there's society, there's life after caregiving, if nothing else.
And oftentimes when you're just caregiving, you may not have anyone to talk to anymore.
Yeah.
So this group would be a great, hey, I know I can go and talk to them about how to fix a door.
Right.
Yeah,
With
exactly.
the supplies from Rosenberg's. Or
That's right.
You can talk about other things besides it, because
Yeah.
sometimes you are so isolated, you have no one there to talk to.
Yeah.
And this is a great group.
It's a common thread that fellas can talk. Some guy was fishing the last week's type thing, and he'll tell us the big fish that he caught. Or the other guy was out hunting and tells about what happened on the hunting grounds. So it's a sharing of other things other than how to dress your wife and how to undress her, if you will, and care for her and feed her and house her and do all the things that she was doing for you and the family, so that you're not totally involved with a care situation that somewhere along the line you become ill because you are so dedicated. Dedication is fine, but at the same time, you have to be an individual. There's a personality behind you in your caregiving responsibility.
Well, and the camaraderie of a group like that, because it's one thing to have a social club or something like that, but to have a group that shares what's happening to you.
Absolutely, yeah. Some of them come and bring us cookies that they make.
Very good.
One fellow comes, every time he comes there, he brings a box of cookies from Costco that we all share with the coffee that somebody else brings. Or sometimes one of the fellows brought us a whole basket full of his tomatoes that he grew in the backyard. So they've become close friends. A lot of the caregiving guys are buddies right now. And that's really what has happened. It's that cohesiveness that happens in a situation that is negative becomes positive.
Do you ever have them come back? A spouse may die and then they're alone. Do they come back?
They do. It's surprising, but that's okay. Yeah, they feel very comfortable in the situation that they can share what has happened to them, but at the same time doing what I am doing. Even though my wife has been dead for a lot of years, I'm still going back, so to speak, and sharing. I feel very comfortable because I know exactly what they're going through and what they are. They want to be part of. It's a social group, if nothing else. Yeah, very important. Yeah,
because in the group there's going to be a lot of grieving.
Absolutely.
I mean, not even just grieving a death, but before that happens, you're grieving the loss of your relationship, the things you did together as a couple. You're grieving how your family is relating to this situation, and just a lot of things that aren't the same anymore. And then you might lose your loved one, and now you're grieving that on top of it.
Yeah, it's compounding the negative at the same time. Every holiday there's a party, a Christmas party, where the group gets together at somebody's home, and everybody brings their little casseroles, if you will, or cookies or cakes, whatever the case. But it's a nice feeling that they get to see their spouse that they're caring, so the spouse knows that this guy's caring for him, for her, and so forth. So there's a cross-ventilation, if you will, of the spouse that's being cared for by that lovely husband of hers. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
In your group, do you ever bring a photo of your loved one?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah. And occasionally a fellow would bring his daughter or his grandchild just to share what caregiving is for his grandfather. Yeah.
And I would imagine that there is an understanding that what you say in that group is kept confidential.
Absolutely.
In case someone is concerned, well, if I go there, then what about neighbors hearing or something that... Yeah. No, you're going to keep that confidential. It's just for the group, for there. Because someone may come in and express emotions of frustration or anger from different instances that happen, and then later they may be embarrassed that other people know. So we do want people to know this would be very confidential.
Sure.
That's right. Absolutely. 90 minutes of silence. You're not going to tell anybody else. Yeah. But the guys call each other. and they
Sure.
meet each other. They go for lunch or breakfast together.
That's. I was just thinking of that, Howard. What a great network these gentlemen are creating.
Absolutely.
I do have a problem with that lawnmower, and I know somebody in my group that I can ask that question of.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But also the what they're going through, to have someone that truly understands, because they were able to open up maybe better than they can to the doctor or anybody else. And the doctor, wonderful that we have, but they don't always have the time for this part.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're getting our flyers together, and we'll be getting them out very soon. So this is what we're talking about again, in case someone just tuned in. We're talking about a men's only caregiving support group. It'll meet the second Tuesday of the month at the library in the Hatfield room from 12:30 to 2. Not to confuse it with Stacy Zerker's caregiver group, support group at the Northwest Seniors, which happens the second Wednesday. You can go to all of them if you're a man. You can go to 2 of them if you're a woman. And Stacy often has a guest speaker. Hers is 1:30 to 3:30. And then we have an Alzheimer's support group, or Alzheimer's means anyone with dementia. And that's 4th Wednesday, 10:30 to 12. If that all confuses you, call me at the hospital. My number is 503-815-2270, or just call the operator and ask for Ginny. I work with community education.
You know, and Jenny, this is such a huge help. I'm certain that Maria would add it to the community calendar, too, as a reminder.
We will be getting it, hitting the calendars with that, and hitting all the area communications with this information, because it's a great benefit, Howard, to our community, and we're really pleased. He's going to run it in Portland and also run it here. I think
got to keep
great.
it going. Those guys need me, and I need them. They've helped me at the same time.
I'm impressed by the number of years, and I'm kind of thinking he's got this figured out now after 28 years.
I'm still learning, kiddo.
I like that. We're going to take another short break, and we'll be back visiting with Jenny and Howard. But, you know, sleep is far more crucial to health than you may realize. 25% of Americans report not getting enough sleep at night, and 10% say they suffer from insomnia. A lack of high-quality sleep can cause grogginess and fatigue throughout the day, but it can also lead to serious chronic diseases, including heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and obesity. Some tips for preventing sleep apnea and other sleeping disorders include quitting smoking, avoiding alcohol, caffeine and heavy meals 2 to 3 hours before bed, and developing a regular sleep schedule and keeping the bedroom dark, quiet, and cool. Sleep experts also recommend powering down cell phones, tablets, and the TV in advance of bedtime. Adventist Health Tillamook Sleep Lab, is designed with you in mind. To find out more, talk to the experts at Adventist Health Tillamook Sleep Lab. They are committed to the health and wellness of our community. And I apologize because this sneaky thing had our old name on it. And so I was trying to say that we are now known as Adventist Health Tillamook.
Right, that's our new corporate name. And then there's Portland Adventist Medical Center is now Adventist Health Portland on the east side. So each hospital is Adventist Health with the name of the hospital behind it.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Makes sense. Easy to find.
And you know, sleep is a real thing that caregivers have a trouble with, because if their care receiver is up and down in the night because of whatever condition, pain, whatever it might be, then they're not getting good sleep either. And sometimes you're sleeping in different rooms, so you can. It's very difficult. And if your care receiver can get some help from the doctor to check medications, are they interfering, and that's why they're sleeping. Some will work well, some won't. Don't just get a sleeping pill. Talk to your doctor, because as we get older, sometimes sleeping pills make us more prone to falls when we do wake up in the night. We're more groggy, it affects balance. So getting an over-the-counter without checking with your primary care provider is really not safe. And it can be very hard to get sleep. You know, all I can say is when your care receiver takes a nap, it's not bad for you to take one too.
Absolutely.
Although you probably have a million things you want to do. But those are topics that Howard can talk with his group about. We can bring in a speaker if he wants that. We want to support him in his new project.
Thank you. Yeah. I've brought in speakers in the past that prompted me at the same time your talk there. But the speakers were good, doctors and persons that are knowledgeable about particular conditions, but they took too much time. And these fellas needed time. They didn't need somebody else to tell them how to do stuff. So I stopped calling on speakers because I wanted the fellas to talk and be part of the group instead of somebody sitting back and listening to somebody tell them what to do and what not to do. So maybe it's a selfish thing on my part, but I felt that it's more important that the guys listen to themselves because they're going to learn a lot more from each other. Because somewhere along the line, one of those fellows did the same thing, and he understands.
Exactly, Howard. Your years of being a caregiver, and of course now working with this class, you probably have men in the class that have been a caregiver for a time. One that's kind of new to the situation.
Right.
Makes it easier for them.
Yes, it does. It does. And they've become buddies, a lot of them. They've gone, as I said earlier, they've done stuff with their wives, both of them, both husbands and both wives. They go places so that it becomes a social activity, that they're not alone, and they're able to see the fellow's wife that he's here talking about. So it's a nice social group for the ladies as well as the guys.
And knowing that you can pick up the phone and call somebody when you have a question Saturday night at 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
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 We'll make sure that Howard has resources in case they do ask about. We'll make sure that he has basic resources to pass out as he needs to.
Hey, you have a lot.
We have a lot of
You have
resources
a lot.
here, so we'll make sure that that's part of the group in case the question comes up. And
Yeah.
And it's interesting, we always say, well, you need to know you're not alone. And we go, yeah, okay, I'm not alone. And then I shut my door and I am alone. But when you go to a group and you hear things, it makes a difference to hear it and to be present, to hear someone else share their experience and to go, oh, that applies to me.
I did it too.
Yes, exactly.
It is strength. We have grief groups, and when they come together, they realize, oh, this is a larger support. When I'm sharing my grief, I actually get a positive response back that helps me move through my day.
And you're exactly right that men and women react differently in mixed groups.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They feel comfortable in a men's only group as well as in a ladies only group. Having one guy sitting in with a bunch of ladies, he's sitting in the corner. He's afraid to talk.
Yeah.
These gals are going to get to him.
I think it can change the dynamic to the women too.
Yes, it
Absolutely.
does. They're not that freedom of speech. Yeah. That's
So this is a positive in our community to be able to add this to our resource list.
And we're going to be the second Tuesday of the month, starting in October. And at the Hatfield room there at the library, that is a 12:30, did you say?
Yes, 12:30. Yeah.
Okay.
Right before lunch.
Perfect.
So they'll be hungry.
I think there might be cookies. I'm thinking there.
I think there might be.
Yeah.
Well, Jenny, and congratulations to Adventist Health Tillamook for selecting Eric Swanson.
Yes,
as your president.
We're going to get Eric Swanson on here. We're checking dates right now, and he'd love to come and share with the community. To have a local move up the line and be able to spread the medical health message to our community that he's lived with for so long.
Exactly. I think the first time I really connected with Eric was at 911 when he was their administrator. But he's come up through the ranks.
Yes.
Good job.
So we'll have him on here hopefully in the next week or two.
Excellent.
So everyone should listen every day to Tillamook Today, says you don't know what you'll miss.
There you go. There you go. Well, let's see. We got a couple of, happy birthday to Sharon Renteria. Happy birthday. On Monday, our Senator Betsy Johnson is going to be calling in. Senior meals, 11:30 at St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway Beach. That's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And noon every weekday at the Kiawanda Community Center in Pacific City, as well as the Tillamook Senior Center. And let's see. The Cheesemakers, they've got a home non-conference game against Junction City tonight. If you can't be at the high school, you can tune us in at 6:45 for the pregame, and the game is at 7. Saturday is the Smithsonian Magazine's 15th Annual Museum Day. The Tillamook Air Museum, as well as the Pioneer Museum, will be participating. Admission is free. Visit smithsonianmagazine.com/museum day to get your free ticket for the Air Museum. The Pioneer Museum is honoring the discount if you just tell them Smithsonian Magazine sent you. Sunday is Adventist Health Tillamook Canine Walk for Respite Care. The 1.3-mile walk raises awareness and funds for the respite care services of Faith in Action. The walk begins and ends at Adventist Health Tillamook. It's from 3 to 5. Dogs are welcome on a leash. The fundraiser has a registration fee, and it's only $10 per person and $5 for the dog. There you go. Farmers markets, we've got Nesquin Market tomorrow from 9 to 1 at the Nesquin Wayside. Their last weekend is next weekend, 9/28. Tillamook Farmers Market is Saturday, also tomorrow, 9 to 2. And their last weekend is next weekend, too. Everybody's wrapping up, as is Pacific City Farmers Market, Sunday from 10 to 2 in the PC Library parking lot. Also, we've got a pair of tickets to Crave the Coast. That's next weekend. The event is, next weekend in Garibaldi. And the first caller, and those are a valuable pair of tickets. I'm going. It's going to be a lot of fun. First caller at 842-4422. Thank you, too, for stopping by.
You're welcome.
Howard, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, young lady.
Thank you, sir. And I look forward to an update on the group, and I'm sure Jenny can make that happen.
We will.
Very good. Thank you both.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tillamook.